Hello, and welcome back to the Lust Podcast Show, the show that is rated R for real and not PG for playing games. I'm one of your hosts, the Boss Lady.
And I'm the D.O.C.
We would love for you to continue to join us for our weekly conversations about life, culture, and everything else. Get to know us, get to love us. Now, this episode of our podcast show is sponsored by Cigar Junkies and CJS Educational Services. So don't forget to check out Cigar Junkies merch. As you see, we all have on merch. And check that out at cigarjunkies.com. Now, I would like to pause for a second before we jump into this episode just to ask, how is everyone doing?
I'm doing pretty good. How about yourself? This was a great weekend.
Cool.
It was a great weekend. Yeah, this was a really great weekend.
Yes, it was.
Hot as hell.
Hot.
It feels like August and June. But yeah, other than that, it was straight.
Yes, it was. So before we get into our 3-course meal, before we get into our appetizer, we want to pause for a second because we are delighted because we actually have a special guest with us today. As you all see, we have Mr. Jalil with us. And so, kind of excited.
No doubt.
I'm kind of excited, because we saw this day in the making. We saw this moment in the making. And so just want to take a second just to introduce Mr. Sanders, who is now a college graduate from Indiana University, Bloomington, under the College of Public Health. And I'll let him explain his major and things of that nature in a second. But we just want to roll out the red carpet for Mr. Jalil Sanders.
No doubt. Appreciate it. So yeah, tell us a little bit. What you get your degree in from Indiana University?
So my degree is in fitness and wellness with a minor in exercise science. Like what that entails, kind of just like the whole broad field of like fitness and stuff. So it's like from personal training, occupational therapy, athletic sport performance training, strength and conditioning. Pretty much that whole entire criteria. So like what my degree is, I can work with like pretty much any like fitness industry out there.
Okay.
Long as I with the credible certifications and whatnot, I'm all set to go.
Okay.
Cool.
Well, welcome. Thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to come hang and come record with us. I just want to say thank you and welcome. So
before we get started, I just want to say thanks to all the people that showed up yesterday to the graduation celebration we had in honor of him getting his bachelor's degree.
Yes.
So we had a beautiful celebration. We had people come from all over. Special shout out to the Tanner family for folks. They came all the way from Charleston, Mississippi, as well as Memphis. So we had Uncle Donnell, Auntie Betty, and Auntie Riri, and Auntie Pam. They all showed up and came and supported. So that was much appreciated. And then all the people that live locally, all my family and friends that really showed up and showed out for Jalil. So we really appreciate that.
Shout out to that West Side connection.
Thank all y'all for all showing love. So I just want to say that.
Showing up for that side. So yes.
I want to just say shout out to everybody for that.
Yeah. Well, thank you for pausing for that. Because yes, that is again, we are honestly still floating on cloud 9. I know he is because he's the actual graduate, but as parents, we are still floating on cloud 9. So, all right, with that being said, let's get into our appetizer, our hot topic. And so this is something that honestly we were having a candid conversation about, and we were just like, we just got to kind of mention this. And that is, what the fuck happened to COVID? And what we mean by that is because we were talking about vaccinations and things of that nature, and we were talking about at one point in time how you literally had to have a vaccination card to do anything, go anywhere, move around and stuff. And so my question to y'all is, what happened to COVID? Was it bullshit? What was it, in y'all opinion?
Well, what you think?
Me personally, I think it was bullshit. I think COVID was definitely like man-made. Definitely, it's like something made for like population control or whatnot. I mean, like it's the fact that it just came out of the fucking blue out of nowhere, and then like less than almost 7 months later, now you motherfuckers have a vaccine. When vaccines take years and trials and everything else to like go through, pretty sure make sure everything else is like correlated and whatnot. So to make a vaccine that quick, off a disease that just came out literally less than a few months like earlier than that, and then nobody really knows what COVID really is. So how y'all making a vaccine for a disease that y'all still trying to figure out what exactly it is in the first place? So
my question for you is, with the vaccine, you being in public health and you being in fitness, if you were working with athletes, most of those people had to take the vaccine.
Mm-hmm.
Even staff that work with them were forced to do it. So what would you have done in that situation? Just say if you had been in that situation, what would you have done?
You can definitely exempt it for like religious reasons, so like different things in that nature. Like pretty much the only way to like kind of get out of it for the most part. I understand. Otherwise, pretty much like either that or they're pretty much just forced to take the vaccine altogether, or just not have the job. Period. So
would you not take the job? Would you take the vaccination, or would you try to do the religious exemption? But what if they deny the religious exemption?
I would probably try to check the religious exemption, and if they denied it, I mean, like you would need like a lot of like different like what's the word for it? I would say like different ways, kind of deny the whole process, but pretty much it's a whole thing to go through to actually deny religious exemption. So,
okay.
I mean, who you finna question like for a whole religious thing?
Okay.
So about what happened with it, that's a great question. I was telling somebody, and just at one point it dominated the news for about a year and a half, 2 years,
yes.
to the point where they had like a clock counter with death meter, and it was just crazy. And then now you don't hear anything about it. Like, you've heard nothing about it.
Yeah, it's weird.
One thing I've always wondered was, why didn't rich people get it? A lot of people died from it. A lot of people got sick. I mean, really sick. And I was just wondering, why didn't, I don't know of any major celebrities that paid. Like, what? So COVID discriminated against based on your celebrity status. So I was just wondering, maybe I could be wrong, but I don't know of any major celebrity or major politician, anybody like that
died from it.
Actually died from it.
No, I
don't remember. I just remember Tom Hanks was the first, but he never died.
So I think the book is still open on this, and we could talk a whole episode just about that. So it's just interesting nonetheless.
Very interesting.
We'd like to know what you folks think, and go ahead and put your comments in the put your comments in the section. And if depending on what you say, who knows, we may invite you on the show to discuss some of your views that you put in the comments. So feel free to like, subscribe, and comment on our page. Thank you.
Yes. So now we are jumping into our entree. And so we just gonna go ahead and get started. And so one of the questions I wanted to ask, just starting off, and I wanted to go back before college, before high school. I want to go back to elementary and middle school days. And I wanted to ask you specifically because you actually graduated from 8th grade from Charter School of the Dunes, which for some people may not know what that is. It's a charter school.
Discovery.
Yeah, a Discovery Charter School. And so, I said Charter School of Dunes, Discovery Charter School. And so it was mostly populated more white than anything. So I wanted to ask you, how was it like going to a white middle school? And do you think that actually prepared you for high school, and then fast forward to your college experience, being on a predominantly white, campus and things of that nature?
I would definitely say like going to an all-white middle school around that time, a low-key like a culture shock almost. I went from being around, Bowman and Charter School students were like, you around like mostly black and brown kids all the time. And then all of a sudden you switch up, go to they're all white middle school, but like, you don't really know too much about white people based on except like what you really hear like on TV and whatnot. So just being around a whole bunch of white kids for the first time, definitely new experiences, definitely new everything. I was like, yo, what the fuck is this sometimes? So definitely, I would say going through a whole like all white middle school for like almost like 4 years, you learn different things, you learn how the world works in different ways and whatnot, and it definitely kind of prepares you on how to like work with like different races, different diversities, everything outside of that, especially going to high school and college.
Okay.
So I would definitely say kind of like going to like kind of like being around like both experiences kind of like help me prepare like being in college. Because like in college you meet so many different backgrounds of people, diversities, everything, ethnicities, races, cultures, everything. So it's just definitely a key thing to kind of like look forward to. And diversity is definitely helpful in many different ways because you learn a lot from different people who are outside of that.
My bad.
He's like a little kid, just gotta touch a toy at all moments. At all moments, man.
So yeah, that was definitely a key thing though. Definitely diversity. So if you ever get a chance to like just meet like many different people like outside of your own race, I would definitely say like take advantage of it 100%, because you'll learn a lot from many different people.
Okay.
That's a real good take. And you almost had me reliving some of my experiences when I went to the Indiana Academy, even though it was in high school. But that culture shock is real. You know that real, and being the only black male in a lot of those settings, or one of the only few, that could definitely have adverse effect on you, especially if you're not mentally, psychically, and emotionally prepared for it. So I think it's very important that parents, prepare their kids for that, because I ain't gonna lie, looking back on it, as a parent, I'm not sure if I would have done that now.
Yeah. Looking back,
we were looking at it from
an educational standpoint,
from the
academic standpoint,
and the access to resources that you had versus, I hate to say it, going to certain black schools. It's just certain resources you didn't have access to, and that's what we're looking at. And you weigh that versus the other stuff.
Aspect,
the racism and what that's real.
That is very real.
And so that should not be taken lightly. So I'm not so sure if I would have pursued that avenue, looking back on it or whatever. But in retrospect, it did work.
Yeah.
So it did work, but
served its purpose.
And there's no plan that's perfect. So you would have had issues if it had been an all black school, because every day, even I know it was always behavioral issues and fights and things like that. Those sort of things didn't exist at the white high school.
Really didn't.
You didn't have to deal with the threat of violence on a constant, everyday basis, whether low level or high level threats. I'm just keeping it real, and so that's a huge thing for a parent, that you don't have to deal with those sort of things, and you weigh that versus the educational piece. So,
access to technology.
I appreciate that. It really had me thinking about my own experiences and things like that. Yeah.
Honestly, to add on to that too, I would definitely say I learned like a lot of new different skill sets going to Discovery, charter school Discovery, whatever. Like I learned like the whole importance of like hiking and camping, and like learning how to do like actually like outdoor survival wilderness things like that nature. I learned how to compost. I learned how to farm. I learned how to like literally create like my own bee farm if I wanted to. Different things in that nature. So like it's just like every different environment has like its own set of like pros and cons skills that you learn from. So,
no doubt.
Pretty much that. Yeah, definitely.
The 2-day camping trip they used to. Now I would say this: I was impressed that they used to take them on a 2-day camping trip every school year. And so I used to think that was kind of dope.
That's why I learned archery from one of my camping trips. Yeah, so I learned how to do archery from literally one of my camping trips. Yeah.
So can we pause for a second to tell people all these different sports that you are into? So can you just really run down all the different sports that you do at school and stuff like that?
Let's see. So I started off doing like intro to like martial arts like my freshman year. So I did that from like my freshman year to my sophomore year. Then like I want to say like around my junior year, I did archery, scuba diving, I did Japanese jiu-jitsu, and I did Hapkido, which are like two different forms of jiu-jitsu as well too. And then senior year, my past semester, same day I did rock climbing for the first time. That was pretty cool. I did outdoor rock climbing actually the previous year before that. I also did some more Japanese jiu-jitsu, more combat sports, basically the whole criteria. So yeah, it was mostly like a whole good range of just like everything, honestly. So
okay,
that's cool.
Now, aren't you certified in the scuba diving?
Yes, so I'm certified in scuba diving, certified in the whole Japanese jiu-jitsu thing too, as well as archery.
So, wow! Yeah. So you telling me you can go out on a ship and jump your ass in the ocean, and you certified that you gonna survive and be able to?
They walk you through like a whole. They teach you like how to put on the suit, how to like enter the whole like the air gauge thing, whatever they call it. It's a whole process you go through.
So you one of the people, they go on a cruise, you can really take advantage of the excursions.
Yeah. I can go scuba diving. I can go full blast whenever I want to. So.
Rock climbing.
I tried to tell your mom. I tried to tell her that she thinks she could do that shit. She gonna end up drowning. You got to be certified to do that shit.
You got to be certified for rock climbing too.
Yeah, you can't just do that shit.
So you do have to be certified, but for the
now, if you're getting chased by the police,
you can do snorkeling.
You climb your ass up that rock if you want to.
So going back to something really quickly. Part of your high school experience, I mean, for a lot of people, was during the pandemic. But what was your experience like finishing high school in the pandemic? And like, do you feel like that changed things or anything like that?
I would definitely say it was weird because like you went from being like just in a regular school setting around people all day, every day. So all of a sudden you don't see nobody but your own like family for the next like 2-3 months. And it's like an everyday thing, like in the house all day, every day.
That's kind of crazy.
Versus just going out, you know what I'm saying, seeing people wondering like I'm not used to that the whole quarantine isolation thing. I like to move around, be outside and whatnot. So just being enclosed all the time, yeah, that's just kind of weird. I ain't gonna lie to you. So definitely like finishing school is also like really fucking boring. You know, Zoom all the time. I'm not gonna really lie to y'all. Like Zoom classes are really fucking boring to me. I'm not trying to like look at a computer screen for more than an hour.
So you prefer in-person classes?
I'm an in-person person.
So are the Zoom classes, would you say they're easier?
They're easier. They're definitely because like you know I really gotta do shit for it besides just do the work on the computer.
So is it just hard to keep your attention on Zoom? Is that the bad part about it, or is it the way that professors teach or don't teach on Zoom? Like,
I would say it's a combination of both. Like it could be boring as fuck, but like if the teacher is like actually making like the subject or the topic interesting, it provides like way more engagement to the course and whatnot. So definitely for like teachers doing Zoom classes, please make your shit interesting. Otherwise, your fucking students will fucking like sleep on you the entire time. I've seen it happen literally. So they will have to be slumped in their class midway because you're fucking boring. So just try to be interesting. Like don't have to, like you don't have to be a robot for the entire like session that you're teaching students. Like you can be a fucking human for once and just talk to students. Literally, they prefer that more than like a whole structured manual script that you going by for most teachers.
So I guess you really learned yourself when you was in college, as far as what you like and don't like, as far as education is concerned.
So how was the experience at IUB? Like, how was it being a black guy at IUB during the pandemic? I mean, you went from 2020 to 2024.
Mm-hmm.
Part of that was during the pandemic. So how was it for the time that you were physically down in Bloomington? You got there, what, 22 is when you went down there, was it 21?
No, they went in 21.
So 21.
21.
So you went in 21. So how was the actual experience on campus and in Bloomington in general? How would you describe it? So if you were to tell another black male, what would you tell him?
Let's say during COVID too. So like it's like the whole process, whatever. Coming in, so like your freshman year of COVID, like it was pretty fucking weird. Everybody's masked up. You can't really be nowhere than like 6 feet close to a person, which, for on a social standpoint, it's pretty fucking whack if you ask me. Like you can't really hold a conversation 6 feet from a person. It's kind of crazy. So you got that going on. Everybody's like super like paranoid about catching a whole ass disease. So like you don't even want to get close to certain people. They don't want to get close to you. It's super fucking strict policies all the time. Like you constantly have to wear a mask all the fucking time. Like even just to go to the bathroom, you're going home, take a shit, you need a mask on. Literally, it's fucking insane. So it was just that whole process and just like the whole class aspect. Again, all Zoom classes. So like most of the time, you spend most of your school day literally in your fucking room because you can't really go nowhere else for real. So that was pretty much boring sometimes. Now I would say like outside of classes, it was pretty cool. I still had fun my freshman year. I met a lot of people my freshman year, and I think honestly a lot of freshmen didn't give a fuck about COVID outside of teachers and whatnot. Because there was still parties going on my freshman year, and it was still, yeah, people don't give a fuck about that. So I would definitely say, and then like you fast forward to like sophomore year, like they were kind of like shifting more to like the hybrid side of things. It was still kind of weird because like again, everything is still like somewhat shut down to this day, and you're still getting tested like almost every week. So that was the other thing too. Like freshman year, I was doing like fucking spit tube tests like every other day. My freshman year, and like I'm constantly checking my phone all the time, making sure I don't have a positive test or a negative test, and then on top of that too, like you gotta make sure like
that's why you got to do those weekly tests
all the time. Literally,
I remember that was stressful. I just remember being stressful for you. Like,
literally, you can't be late to another appointments either. Like it's a whole process you got to go through. Like
it's crazy.
And then like for us friends and whatnot, like we always send like notifications to each other about our test results and whatnot, so that way, if one of us was positive, we can tell like who was first and things like that in nature. So
y'all was doing y'all own type of tracking within y'all own friend group. That's crazy.
Literally, because like we were not fucking around with that whole COVID thing. Because like if one person caught it, 9 times out of 10, one of y'all other motherfuckers got it too.
So did you ever have an experience where one of your people that you were close to or around tested positive and they didn't say anything, or did you have any situations like that where somebody?
Yeah, my one ex freshman year, yeah, like she had went home like one weekend and like both her fucking parents were like completely exposed to it. Her dad had actually had COVID. Her mom was exposed to it, and she was around her mom the whole time too. So like when she came back, we hung out the entire day, stuff like that, and she never once like brought that shit up. So like I'm at her dorm like one night chilling with her. It's like 2 in the morning. I'm getting ready to like sleep, so I was tired that day, and her phone get the buzzing up. She got her results in like later on that night, whatever. And, the look she had on her face was like, oh shit, like this is not good. I'm like, what the fuck going on? So I looked over and I seen the fucking positive test result on her screen. I'm like, yo, like what you got going on? She's like, her dad got COVID. I'm looking at her like, you can't be fucking serious right now. I'm like, you just came back from the like later on, like early that morning.
So what was your thing? What was your next step?
My reaction: get the fuck out of her room as soon as possible.
No doubt.
That was my next reaction, honestly. So I looked at her and I'm like, I'm gonna leave real quick. That was it. I got up, packed my shit up. She's like, you just gonna leave me like that? I'm like, motherfucker, you have COVID, damn right. I'm getting the fuck out of here. Mine was like 3, 4 in the morning. So I left her room, went back to my shit. I didn't even go to sleep till like 5 in the morning. I spent my whole night spraying everything down, cleaning everything, washing everything. I was fucking paranoid as fuck.
But you don't do that stuff now, do you?
Oh, no, I am.
So I want to go back to the question.
Yeah.
So how was it being a black man at IUB?
Being a black man at IUB, I mean, there's definitely like there's pros and cons. Obviously, like there's pros, like you obviously meet like more black and brown people like you. Y'all can relate on a whole different like level, things of that nature. I would say the cons, obviously, being a black man in America, you always have like the slight like paranoia in the back of your head, like like you don't want to be let's see, confronted or approached by a crazy white motherfucker because of your skin color, whatnot. You don't got time like being profiled by the police, things of that nature. So definitely always be on the lookout about that. And I think around the same time too that we had came in our freshman year, a lot of like racial tensions were like rising because of the whole Black Lives Matter thing was going on, George Floyd, everything was going on. So a lot of tension just surrounding everything around that moment. So on top of the presidential elections things, were also coming in town too. So you got a good as trend of Trump supporters coming around, doing their thing, whatnot, kind of just raising hell and shit. So definitely be on the pros and cons about that all the time. Yeah.
So I got a question. Do you remember that the story about the black guy that got killed, I think at Indiana University by the group of?
No, he actually didn't kill. He almost got killed though.
Okay.
Yeah.
How was y'all reaction? Because y'all was down there at that time when it happened. How was y'all reaction like as black students when y'all heard about that?
We were fucking like paranoid to the fullest max. Like I remember because we had like a whole Black IU group chat from the school. Mm-hmm. And all the graduate students were all telling us like, yo, like you traveling to IU, do not stop at Martinsville, like pretty much none of the southern towns like close to the school because that shit is like crawling with racism. It's crawling with just so many different things. Like the police would literally fuck with you in the worst way possible. Like if you traveling through Martinsville specifically, like do not stop nowhere. Like you have to piss, you literally have to wait until you get to the school to like really handle your business.
Because it's always been like that.
Yeah.
Traveling.
Yeah.
You will always know like if you were to stop, you stopped in Indianapolis, but you usually, you will stop in Indianapolis and fill up, and then you wouldn't stop until you got back up top. Like, especially if you had to go back through them country roads, you definitely didn't stop at that shit. Yeah. The sundown town is real for folks who don't know. That means that when that fucking sun go down, your black ass better be up out there.
And there's many ones close to you as well too. So one of them is Martinsville, one of them is Ellisville. It's a whole bunch of them, honestly. They're all close to IU. So that's definitely a real thing that a lot of people in our generation don't really know about too much. So luckily I have the privilege of learning what sundown towns are, and yeah, it's just pretty real. Like, don't be fucking around outside of town during certain hours. It's like it's not good for you.
So let me ask you this: why did you choose IUB?
Scholarship program, honestly. Groups have a good scholarship program, mostly for like black and brown students and whatnot. And most of the people that was in that program with me had already met them like prior, honestly. They're like other different programs, high school, different things of that nature. Okay. So like just having that good like friend connection and different aspects of whatnot definitely helped the whole process. I would say the one thing I wish we would have had for our group scholarships actually just being in person on campus. Because, like, our group's experience compared to all other
that's
different
right.
classes,
It was virtual.
it was fucking virtual. So I met pretty much all my group friends through a Zoom class versus all the other classes nowadays. They get to actually meet their friends on campus
No
right
doubt.
now.
Yeah.
So y'all
That's
are pretty
pretty
blessed for
good.
that. Yeah. So we pretty much got fucked out of our whole entire experience. Like, we didn't get no
Yeah.
groups thing, nothing for real.
I can see that.
So yeah.
So I got a question.
Mm.
What would you tell right now? What would you tell all the stuff that you know? What would you tell your 18-year-old self so that you avoid it? What would you go back and tell yourself? If you had one or two things, what would you tell yourself?
Stay true to yourself. Honestly, the most important thing. Like, you gonna obviously be like meeting different people, different experiences, different situations where like it's gonna force you to, be this character, be whatever. But like the biggest thing is to always stay true to yourself. It's only you know who you are, not other people that matter. So kind of just move how you need to move. But like, if you know it's not right in your gut and your nature, don't fucking do it. Trust your gut, trust your instinct, and keep it moving.
So what would you do differently? Is it something you would have done differently, knowing what you know now? What would you have done differently with your college experience?
Kind of just like taking like one step at a time, not trying to do everything so fast. Honestly,
Like, for example, like what's an example of that?
let's see. Honestly, a good example. Probably just like the whole like just honestly, it's like everything on a broad aspect. It's kind of like I can't like really like pinpoint it's like one specific thing. Honestly, because like I look at it from like a broad aspect. Also, just in general, like just stop moving so fast. Like stop worrying about everything. Like just take it like one step at a time. Like you gonna get this done, gonna get this done. Like there's no point stressing all about like stressing like the small shit all the time. Constantly worrying about this, constantly worrying about that. Like I'll get one thing done, and like I'm automatically stressing out the one next thing, even though it hasn't even happened yet. Because anything can happen. So like you can't put all your worries on this one thing, and it hasn't even happened yet. Like you have to just take time, do what you got to do in the present moment right now. That when you get to that next step, you already know what you got to do versus just worrying about everything at the same fucking time.
So let me ask you something, because I know you stayed in the dorm mostly your whole, collegiate career, but I know you did move into an apartment.
Yeah.
What advice would you give to a student right now that's trying to decide if they should move out of the dorm and move into an apartment? What would be your advice to that person?
Let's see. If you're struggling financially, stay your ass in the dorm. Literally, I mean, it's cheaper, literally, and you probably have more access to food than what you would in an apartment. I would say now, if you are like in a good financial position and you have a car and you're able to like move around and whatnot, I would say definitely get you an apartment, especially if you're a person like who likes to cook all the time or have like your own space, privacy, stuff like that would have mixed pretty much the whole process.
I think you hit it on the head with the car transportation. That's the key.
Mm-hmm.
Is if you live off campus, you either A, need to have a car, like you said, or B, be close to some type of bus system where it don't, because your commute. Yeah, they had a very good bus. Well, I live close enough where I could walk to campus. Like, I would walk to campus was like 10, 15 minutes, if that. Of course, you don't want to do that when it was cold, but on a regular nice day, wasn't shit to do it. Or get a bike as well, bike as well. But you got to have some type of reliable transportation if you're living off campus.
Yeah, that's true.
And then, like you said, the food, the expense of just taking care of yourself.
It's just different going to the dorm 3 times a day versus that. You got to go prepare, cook, grocery shop, clean up.
You got to be smart on what you buy in the store, and making sure like it lasts you for about a good amount of time, like things of that nature. Because like they both just said, you got to cook the food, prepare it, find time to clean the shit, everything. On top of like other things that you need to handle as well, too, like studying, also making sure that shit's on track, paying the bills on time, rent, everything else. So it's like it's a whole fucking big ass process moving into an apartment versus staying on campus. So on campus, you don't really have to worry about extra bills and whatnot because all this is taken care of with your room and board and whatnot. Off campus, you got to worry about 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 different things all at the same time. On top of your roommates, if you live in a roommate, still making sure your roommates are not complete dumbasses and they know how to handle this shit as well too. So yeah.
Okay. So can I ask you a sidebar question?
Yeah.
What was it like? Because I think we asked later the same question. What was it like dating as a black man at a PWI at IUB?
I mean, shit. If you a black man at IUB, you most likely going for like black and brown shorties on campus, honestly. I mean, you may have found like a few little snowball that you like and whatnot, but most of the time, your eyes really on black and brown women for the most part. Because ain't really too many. But there's a whole lot of white shorties on campus, but I mean, me personally, all white girls, they all look the same. They all act the same down there sometimes.
So you haven't dated a white girl yet?
On campus, nah.
So you said black and brown shorties.
Yeah.
So is that what mostly all y'all dated? Just like black, brown?
I'll talk to a few Asians. That's it. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
That's about it.
So what's the plan for you going forward? You know, you got your degree,
Yeah.
you navigated, you got over the hurdle. Congratulations. You know, I'm very proud of you for your achievement. And then not only that, you know, all achievements are not without challenges. So everybody goes through challenges throughout the journey, but you completed the journey and you completed it within a period of time that you were set to do. It wasn't like you had to do an extra semester, extra year, or something like that. So you did it on time. So that's a blessing. And so my thing is, what are your plans for immediate, like in the next year, and then what do you perceive yourself, or you want to see yourself doing in the future?
I would say like right now, honestly, like the current plan right now, like also about a year from now. Keep working on my internship, working on a private gym right now called Force Fitness, where I'm an intern as a sport performance coach, also a personal trainer as well too. Where I work like pretty much general population, but also athletes as well too. So I work with like athletes, whether it's high school, even like college sometimes. Regular kids and also older adults who also still want to get back into the group, like just keep moving for the most part.
Okay.
So definitely, I would say definitely like pretty much stay on that path for right now, and then like as I gain more experience, more time, and things of that nature, I definitely want to venture out of state because I feel like there's way more opportunities outside of Indiana than this here anyway. Mm-hmm. So the biggest plan is to honestly just go out of state somewhere like I could really make a professional gig, work on a big team and whatnot. So, yeah.
All right,
okay,
cool.
I like that. I have a question. How come you don't do any entrepreneur type stuff? Like, how come you're not trying to, or how come you don't? You may do it, I don't know, but are you trying to do something from an entrepreneur standpoint where you are allowing yourself to be personal trainer to different women, different age groups, different things like that, your own thing, videos, meal plans, all that type of stuff? Are you looking to do any of that?
Honestly, with all that different type of stuff, it also require like a lot of different like just experience and a lot of just like knowledge behind it. Like you can't just like really just jump into it.
Okay.
Without having like prior knowledge about how everything works. Like you can try to like jump into the whole nutrition thing, but like if you have like limited or like no knowledge to how like nutrition really works, it's not gonna really help you. As far especially like personal training. So like personal training ain't just about just telling a person how to move this way. It's a whole thing about like different cues. Make sure like the form is right. It's like a whole education aspect behind like make sure that you actually know what the fuck you're teaching to your clients. Otherwise, you bring up a lot of different issues, so like liability issues, like injuries, different forms of that nature. And injuries can really fuck you over, especially if you're teaching the wrong thing. That could put you in different terms, like legal issues and whatnot. So that's where certifications come into handy. So if you got a certification, your certification is kind of sometimes take care of.
So y'all niggas better stop fucking with them alley physical trainers. Them niggas don't know what they doing.
You in shape. Come on, girl.
Them niggas just trying to fuck. Them niggas ain't getting in shape.
Seriously, like, if that nigga has no certification, don't fuck with him for real. Because 9 times out of 10, he didn't take like no real education. Not just because they look good. For real. So any nigga can look good with abs and whatnot. I mean, I speak for myself honestly. So. The whole purpose, though, if he does not have no education behind his shit, like he can like actually back it up for like what it's not done, don't really do that shit for real. I mean, it's like anybody. Like I say this, like you wouldn't go to no Fat Joe motherfucker for a workout. Like you gonna go to a dude who has not only like the build for it, the fit for it, but it has the education and the credentials behind. That's a whole different gig right there.
No doubt.
Okay, so I love that. We're gonna give you a break on the questioning real quick. So we want you to participate in a activity that we do on our show called Fair or Foul. Okay. And so I'm gonna give you the direction. So pretty much, I give you a topic, and then if you like it or you agree with it, you say it's fair. If you disagree with it or don't like it, you say it's foul. And so I'm gonna give you a few topics. Okay. So our first topic is females proposing to guys. You're a young guy. You hopefully at one point in time may get married and things of that nature. So what is your thing? How do you feel about females proposing to the man?
Me personally, I just always feel like a man should do that shit.
So that's foul? Yeah,
in my opinion. Okay. Like, I mean, like, would you be cool if a woman got on her one knee?
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't. Me personally, I would feel weird. Like, No, I'm not doing it. No,
No.
it's just not. It's just
D.O.C. Fair or foul?
that's
You
fine.
just didn't say it. I told you before. That's foul.
That's
Like,
fine.
some things are traditional. Guys should do.
Right.
Certain things just should be not left alone. This new generation and this new rampant extreme feminism going crazy.
Everything is extreme feminism.
If you're a woman proposing to a man, get a new nigga.
That's called toxic feminism.
That too.
Okay. What about interracial dating? Is that fair or foul?
Interracial, definitely fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I take it you like dating women outside of the African American race?
Definitely.
Okay.
Learn different things.
Yeah, I don't think there's nothing wrong with dating on the
It's not.
rainbow.
You definitely learn different things.
I'm just asking. It's definitely not
Do
wrong.
you?
My mom always told me, love everybody. Love all
Do you?
creeds, all kinds. Love is love. It ain't got nothing to do with
Just know that if you're dating certain races, it comes with a different type of host of
you
issues.
may have culture issues
So
that
just
come
be
along
aware
with
of
that
that.
with interracial dating. I agree with that.
Yeah.
Just know that you may not have a lot of support
No
with
doubt.
that from different aspects of it. But okay, how about dating women that are between the ages of 25 and 30? Is that a fair or a foul thing?
For me, honestly, I think it's cool, fair.
Okay.
Yeah.
What about 30 to 35?
I mean, shit, you want sugar mama, go right ahead.
Would you date a woman that's 35?
Oh, I mean, she look good enough, you know. Shit, fuck it. That's how I kind of look at that shit.
Okay,
Yeah.
what about doing social media challenges? There's so many different challenges out there, but how do you feel about that? Fair
That
or
shit's
foul?
dumb. Like the whole, what's the shit called? The crate challenge? Like, what the fuck? First of all, where the fuck you get all the crates from? First of all. Second of all, that's dumb as hell to climb on some farm for a crate, knowing damn well that half you niggas have no medical insurance for real. So if y'all niggas fall off them crates and fuck y'all leg up or some shit, nigga, you not finna go to the hospital for it, but you can't pay for that shit. So what is the point? And then half the niggas doing it, y'all niggas have like no coordination, balance, like stability for it. So
You said exercise. You said coordination, balance, and stability.
He let you know it's a sign like you niggas should be doing that.
Niggas shouldn't. That's you. I've only seen like at least 2 videos where like a dude.
You don't see real athletes doing stupid shit like that.
There you go. That's
Say
all.
period. Just period.
You will never see a professional.
And what's
athlete
another
do no
social
crate
media challenge that you looked at and was like, what the fuck?
The fucking ice bucket challenge.
I thought that was stupid too.
But that was supposed to have been to raise money for
ALS.
Yeah, for like different.
You know who I mean? It's like 10 niggas in the whole world with ALS. I mean, get the fuck out of here. They doing it for a disease.
Man, they gonna pull this. They gonna pull this right on off you too. They gonna say nope.
It's like 10 niggas that get ALS, man.
He
They
just
doing
said
the bucket.
that. He just said only 10 niggas got ALS. You know? I don't know what to do with these dudes. Oh my god. Okay, what's one more social media challenge? Whether it's a TikTok challenge, whatever. What's another social media challenge that you was just like?
I'm trying to think.
Would you do the dancing things? Like if your girl wanted to do a dancing video with you and do, post it on TikTok and y'all coordinate dance moves and all that?
She got like really convinced me. And it got like a cool dance, so it can't be like no dumb shit. So I'm not gonna look dumb on social media. I'm just not gonna do that.
Exactly.
Like if it's like some shocking video, I kind of get jiggy to whatever. Fuck it, you know what I'm saying? It's whatever. But like if it's some shit like got me doing like weird flips and dumb shit like that, I'm cool up that shit, shorty.
Shaking your hips and shit like that.
You ain't gonna shake your hips?
No.
Shaking my hips.
You ain't gonna do no mother son dance challenge real quick where we shake our hips.
That's for your dog.
Okay, so you're a young person. I asked the D.O.C. this question, so I want to know what your perspective is from a younger perspective. Having drama and conflict in your relationship, do you think that is fair or foul? And what I mean by that, do you think sometimes it's needed? It should be avoided? Both?
If you can avoid it, avoid it. I mean, there's really
who wants conflict?
There's really no.
You know how we answered the question and how we did. So just fall back.
Both parties. I mean, because like both parties don't really benefit from this shit. So there's no point going bickering back and forth and shit. It's like, what's the point? Like, unless it's like over something legit, like I don't know, like maybe financial shit going on, whatever, and that can make couples go back and forth with each other sometimes, whatever the case may be. But again, if you can avoid the whole conflict aspect of the relationship, please avoid that shit. That shit ain't healthy for you or the person.
No doubt.
So there's really no point. Like the whole toxic shit, that shit dumb as fuck. If I'm out there.
So you're not arguing or fighting with your girl?
Fuck no, for I don't got time for that shit. I don't have the patience for that. Like for real, I'm not gonna argue with you all fucking day. I got better things to fucking stress about. So I'm not gonna be arguing, bickering all fucking day. I don't like that. I don't like being mad. So just nah, man. Like if you purposely doing shit to irk my fucking nerves, get the fuck away from me. Get the fuck away from me. I don't got time for that bullshit right now. I really don't.
No doubt.
Okay, so that's straight foul for you. So, all right. Well, I do want to pause for a second before we get out of here. I do want to just say thank you because I know, again, you are busy. So I just want to say congratulations. I just want to say that we are extremely, immensely proud of you. I'm going to be honest, words cannot really capture how I feel right now. With this, because like I said, it was something that we saw, we knew. As parents, we just asked y'all to trust the plan, and y'all did that, and y'all are still doing that. So I am just, again, when I say there's no words to describe how elated we feel as parents to see you go through this, and to, I'm a data type person, so and I may be mistaken, and the D.O.C can correct me, but I believe on the Sanders side, or that side of the family, I believe Jalil may be probably the second person that maybe actually completed and have a 4-year degree under his name. Of course, the D.O.C was the first,
and he's
the second. And
we're
so
gonna keep it going.
Yeah, that's a legacy that's worth announcing and pausing for. Because that's legacies that some Black families just don't have. You may have legacies where you have drug dealers each generation, or athletes each generation, and people support that and things of that nature. But to start a legacy of going to college and things of that nature is amazing. So I just wanted to say that. How can people find you? Like if people watching this, they want to find out,
get some fitness
fitness tips. How do people go about reaching you? Through social media, through Instagram, or
different social media? I'm mostly like really on Instagram and TikTok now.
So what's your handle?
So my social media handle is J Cali RG3. So it's J and then Cali lowercase RG3 and all lowercase as well too. Same thing on TikTok as well too, and Snapchat.
J Cali RG3.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Okay. And do you take people just sending you questions about workout stuff?
Definitely, 100%. If you like any questions about this type of stuff, just hit me up, honestly. But I can answer most questions for you.
Okay. D.O.C, any lasting words? Or
No, just like you said. I mean, I think you summed it up pretty well, but I'm proud of you and I love you, man. I really do, for what you did and continue to do, and just continue to grind. Keep your eyes on the prize, trust your process. Put forth the Mamba mentality, and you'll be successful. That's it.
Of course. And with that being said, y'all, this concludes our episode. Don't forget, go watch, go like, hit that subscribe button. Again, don't just watch and like, hit that subscribe button. And with that being said, we are out of here.
Peace.
Catch y'all later.
Peace. And we got shout outs. Shout out to everybody that came to the party.
No doubt, we kicked it.
No doubt, we kicked it.
Y'all missed a great party.
Yes.
Thank y'all for coming to 100%.
No doubt. Shout out to the Tenor family. Shout out to the Sanders family. Shout out to all the family and friends that showed up. We love y'all. Peace.